Hey guys, this is Avery Wilmer from averywilmer.com, and we're following up talking more about content marketing today. I wanted to discuss the topic of unethical ways people get content and what you should do instead. And this topic came up for me because I was helping someone a couple of days ago and she needed content for her site, and I'm like, she needed content for her site, and I had to do some tweaking and editing and all to get it to follow her branding and all that. And I was trying to find the original files so I could edit them. So I asked her, where are the originals? She said, what do you mean? I said, the originals, where you originally created the documents, where can I find those? She said, oh, I just pulled this off a Google search. I said, what? You can't do that. That's unethical, and in some cases, depending on copyright laws, even illegal. So you never want to take an image, a text, anything from Google search, or any search engine, okay? The purpose of a search engine is to help you find content. It doesn't necessarily give you the right to use that content. Obviously, this is kind of an issue for some people. I see it a lot in newbies. It's just something you don't think about. We use Google for so much today, and Alexa and Siri, that it's easy to think all of this information around us is something we can just take and use or recreate with. And you can't do that. You actually need rights. So never take content from Google or any other search engine, okay? Never. What I would advise you to do instead, if you find some content you really like it, you can do two things. You can contact the website owner or the writer behind the content, and you can say, hey, I really liked this. Can I reuse this on my website? Some writers and some sites will say, oh yeah, sure, go for it. Some will say, no, you can't do that. That's one possibility. Another thing you can do is you can contact the writer and say, I really like your style, really like your tone. Here's my blog. I think it'd be a great match. Do you want to exchange guest posts? And some writers will say, sure. And of course, some will say no, but you don't know until you ask. Either way, you can't just take their content. That's not cool. Okay, so now that we're through that, we're going to talk a bit about compiling. Some people think that if they take a whole bunch of content from like Wikipedia or again a Google search, WebMD, whatever niche you're in, they think if I compile a whole bunch of different articles and things into a report, I've totally changed it and rewritten it and that's okay to use. No. Unless you buy certain rights, you do not have the right to just take people's content, ever. I do know a few people have been sued that way, and while it doesn't tend to be, $1 million lawsuits, it's still, you lose a lot of money, and then of course you pay your fee, your lawyer's fees, their lawyer's fees, and all that when you lose. So you don't want to do that. If you really want to share someone else's content, the legal way to do that, and the best way that I found, is through content curation, which is when you copy a paragraph or two at the most, and you paste it on your blog or your website. However, you still have to link back to them. You have to give credit where credit's due and encourage your people to go and read the full post. Now, the reason this is okay to take just a paragraph or two with links and attribution and all that intact is because that falls under fair use in most areas. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, keep that in mind, but usually it falls into fair use. And then you go and you leave a comment on the original post, the original blogger, and say, hey, I curated this over on my blog, and they can go over and see it. So usually it's not a big deal if you do that. One person who teaches an excellent way of doing content curation that's also legal and ethical is Kelly McCausey. She has smart curation skills, and I'll link you to that in the comments below. Okay? And finally, another way that people sometimes use content illegally is they use a compiling tool. They use a content scraping tool. I see these a lot on jvzoo.com and places where marketers hang out. They create plugins, programs, software, whatever you want to call it, and they sell it to people and they say, oh yeah, you can use this to pull content from like Amazon reviews and eBay reviews and product descriptions and all that. That's also very shaky ground for ethical use. I would never advise you to just scrape content whether you do it yourself by copying and pasting or you let a tool import it into your website. Because guess what? You're still legally responsible for what goes on your website because it's registered in your name. So we do not want to do this, okay? What I would advise you to do instead is look for something called PLR. PLR stands for Private Label Rights. And what private label rights means is that you are buying the right to use that content and even edit it as if it were your own. Many places allow you to put your name on PLR content, okay? So that is the way I would strongly recommend you go. I am partner with Samantha Angel and Kelly McCausey over at White Label Perks. We do tons of PLR content, and you can definitely contact us through the site and ask, say there's a topic you want to find out more about, PLR path that you can use, and we don't have it. Go ahead and ping us an email. We know a lot of other PLR sellers. We can reach out. We can find somebody who probably has what you're looking for and they have it legally. The thing about PLR content is you always want to check the license before you do it. I know that there are a couple PLR sellers out there that will say, oh, you can use this on anything except membership sites, or you can use this on anything except sites that you plan to flip for a profit. Obviously, they just don't want you reselling their content generally, and they don't want it distributed to a wide network. That's totally okay, and that's their right, as the PLR creators. So I would just advise you to go back through and check the license. As long as the license doesn't say you can't use it in a certain way, you're free to do whatever you want with it, okay? So I hope that's been helpful. Hope maybe it's cleared up a few misconceptions for you. Can't wait to see you guys again tomorrow. Bye!